What we're going to be doing today is we're going to be testing these engines to see if they run, if they smoke, if they have any knocks. And this is a little jitney pull here that I made to help test them with the gas tank on top, battery here. Now the way we're testing these is we're hooking up a ground cable directly to the engine, and then we're jumping the starter directly off of the positive terminal of the battery. This Briggs Stratton engine that we're testing today is a 17.5 horsepower twin 2, and we don't have to hook up a positive to the coil to get spark. We've already had this one running, so what we're going to do is fire it up and show you how it runs. It's going to be a little loud because there is no muffler on it, but you'll be able to see. Now we're doing the compression test on the 17.5 horse twin 2. This one, doing this side cylinder first. That one has right around 100 to 105 psi. Do the opposite cylinder now. Gauge at 0. That one's got the same, right around 100 psi. Let's try changing to wide open throttle and see if that makes any difference. Made a difference of about 5 psi switching it over to wide open throttle. That's what you're supposed to do, and there's supposed to be a little bit of gas in the cylinders. So what we have going on now is we're trying to get this. This is the 19 horsepower Briggs Stratton running. And what we're having trouble with right now is the carburetor seems to be flooding out. If you remember on our little remote gas tank here, we had the gas tank mounted up here, and because of that there was gravity pushing fuel into the carburetor, which I thought that might have been the problem, so I lowered the gas tank down to about the bottom. That didn't help our problem, so there's something wrong either within the fuel pump that's not shutting off the fuel or something. So what we're going to try to do now is to tear apart the carburetor and the fuel pump to see if something's dirty, something's stuck, or what's going on here. So this is compression test on starter side of the cylinder. And now we're getting 100 psi out of it. And that one we're getting the same, about 100 psi compression. Here's the fuel pump. torn apart, and you can tell anytime there's water in the fuel because water will beat up against fuel because it won't mix. So that was part of the problem probably. We'll take this and spray this out and go from there. Here we're taking off the top of the carburetor. Just the 4 screws on top. And you'll see that you can access a lot of the carburetor's internals from this position. These are like the worst gloves to be wearing for this kind of thing because the gas just eats them right up. When you're tightening down these screws, always start all 4 before you tighten the first one down. And I like to go through and just snug them all down before I finally tighten them. There you have the 19 horsepower Briggs Stratton turbo cooled motor, model number 42A707 running. You see it doesn't smoke, there's no knocks, there's no ticks. It does idle a little irregular, but I chalk that up to the lot that there's no exhaust, so there's no back pressure. What a lot of people don't understand is they go and take the exhaust off and think it's going to give them more power, but in all actuality, it actually decreases the power because unless you reject the carburetor and actually get more fuel into the engine, expelling more is only counteracting what you think you do. Just because it's louder, it has the feeling that there's more power, but in all actuality, it actually takes away power. I get so many 4-wheelers in that people go and throw a slip-on exhaust on, but don't reject the carburetor or put an aftermarket air filter on to allow more air in, and they end up overheating the 4-wheeler and burning up the valves and rocker arms. So it's really important to always have back pressure for the motor and have enough, especially when you keep stock carburetor jetting and stock air filter. Once again, you can see that there's no smoke, no knocks, and each cylinder had about 100-105 psi compression. Runs good. This one won't come with a starter, and I'm not sure whether it's going to come with a coil or not. Check the eBay listing. Okay, here we have these two Briggs & Stratton motors that I'm going to show you a better close-up of. Now I'm going to show you a better close-up of these two Briggs & Stratton motors. 19 horsepower, Platinum Edition, whatever that means. This one does have the coils on it, but it is missing the starter. It's missing a few of the bolts in the housing. It's missing the holder for the dipstick. This will be shipped with no oil and no gas in it. We have the 17.5 horse twin 2 Briggs & Stratton. Well, model number is 42A707. This one does not have the coil on it. You can buy the coils for like $13 off eBay. I just don't have an extra one. I had to take it off a different one to get it running. This one does not come with the starter either, but it seems like most of the bolts are here on this one. This is the one I had to clean the carburetor on. There is no muffler for this one. These tubes will probably be taken off for shipping. I tested the charging systems on both of them and they both work. This one is going to need new spark plugs. I would suggest new service kits, you know, filter, air filter, spark plugs for these, and new oil because there's no oil in them before trying to start them.